Okay, so I'm going to make a start. And for those of you that haven't been on to any of the other previous webinars, my name's Julia Roberts. I run Niche Marketing. I live and work in Lincoln. And we help SMEs sort of drive their business, and digital marketing is a huge part of that. So today we're going to be looking at email marketing and why it's so important. I suppose, like many of you, my morning routine begins probably the same as you. I go to my inbox, I have a quick scan down, and there's two things I look for: who the email's from and what the subject line says, and then I delete a load. And that's what you're up against when you are doing email marketing. That's what your customers are potentially doing. And it's a big but. If you get this right, then email marketing, I believe, is the glue really that holds all of the other pieces together, and it gives you direct access to your customers and potential customers. And we do everything we can today to help you produce emails and view emails in the right way, so that yours is not one of those that gets deleted. So we're going to cover the tools of the trade, if you like. EDM, you've probably heard that. So the systems and the things that you need that will help you drive your email marketing. How do we then create an engaged community around that? How on earth do we write great emails that people actually want to read and are excited to read? And how does that then impact the relationship? And so ultimately the sales that we are driving for our business. So this is the final part of 3. Like we said, we put the links there for you available, and they're going to be on the Selwyn Council YouTube channel. So the previous 2 you'll be able to see, and I'll show you in a second how we've pulled them all together. We've also made resources available for you. So these are completely free, and it's, in an hour we've got sort of like 3-hour webinars, and it's hard to cover everything. So we've just made some of the points. We've just given you some extra training videos and downloads and checklists and that kind of thing. So the only link you need today really is that one, and again I believe it's been made available below in the comments. So a copy of these slides will be available in the free resources. You don't need to scribble down every link. It's better if you kind of take on the essence of what we're sharing, and how you can really cement a really strong sort of email marketing system for your business, because it's your job as a business owner to put into place a strong and reliable system that consistently, and that's the word that you hear in my field all the time, that consistently drives new leads and customers to your door and keeps existing customers excited. Most of us have a sort of feast or famine approach to marketing, often what I call just luck marketing. So we just throw some stuff out there and we just hope, and we think some luck will bring us, and on the phone will ring, or people come into our shop or hotel or whatever it is. Email gives you a very economical and direct way to stay in contact with people who've either inquired, have come onto your subscriber, your email list in some way. And it's definitely that glue. It's the piece that you manage. It's kind of a strange analogy, but I always talk about it in terms, if you, when you go into hospital, they always put a cannula in your arm because they want direct into your bloodstream. They want to be able to quickly give you things if they need to. And your email system is that. So if you need to get a message urgently out to your potential customers or existing customers, if something new's happened, if there's a new COVID change, if there's some big news, you've won, whatever it is, email gives you that opportunity. So for me, it's crucial. You'll definitely, in my world, you'll hear sort of people saying email is dead. It most definitely is not, and I'm going to show you lots of examples to share how and why I believe that. In fact, quite the opposite. Ryan Dice is, in my world, digital marketing world, he runs Digital Marketeer. I usually go over to his, when they're available, when they're actually on. I go over to San Diego once a year to sort of catch up with the latest things, and he's kind of at the top of his field. And his January email was, "What's new in marketing?" And the crux of that email was email marketing. And he said, you're not going to be excited about it. You're not going to be, oh, you know, Ryan, you've given me something huge. But it is still fundamental and hugely important. It hasn't gone anywhere. I do believe that most businesses are not doing it very well, not enough, not consistently enough. So we're going to walk through how you do that today. So across these webinars, just really quickly then, we looked at content. So how on earth do we get in front of people and what should we be doing? So we're pulling all these pieces together. So webinar 1 was all about creating great content, how you do that to make it simple, and then how you share that and get so more eyes see it than you know, you get it in front of many people as possible. We looked at SEO and how we can improve getting our website ranked and people actually finding this content. Advertising then, so we're creating this amazing content, and we're going to show you some good examples of that again today. And then we are that's almost like the fire, and then we add some gasoline onto that fire with the paid ads, so we get exactly the right eyes looking at what we've created. And then to pull all that together is the email marketing. So this is how we follow up with people, this is how we stay in contact with them, so it's fundamental, and it literally sits between all the other pieces. Your website is the digital space that you own. We've clearly talked about that and demonstrated that in these webinars. And your email list, your database is probably one of the richest assets that your business holds, if that is an engaged database and you're looking after it. So when executed properly, email marketing is the fastest, easiest, and most cost-effective way to generate sales. Now, we're going to show you quite an in-depth example in this webinar of a company, and we've shown some examples of them before, and their latest stats. So for every $1 spent on email marketing, $38 is generated in sales. So that's a huge return on your investment. I suppose everybody uses email, and whether your mum uses it, your customers use it, your parents use it, your spouse, your friends, heck, even your children might use it. So it hasn't gone anywhere. It's definitely huge, but there's definitely ways to kill a list and not do it very well. I like this quote: social media is the cocktail party, then email marketing is the meetup for coffee, the original one-to-one channel. Right the way through these webinars, we have talked about treating your digital marketing as if you've been to a cocktail party or a networking group, and how you would like to be treated at that actual event, that physical event, and how you would treat others in the room. And if you adopt that philosophy and then take it online for your digital marketing, then you will have a very powerful and a very real and authentic approach to it. I think that email marketing lets you take control, if you like, of the marketing conversation. So a lot of the other digital marketing is spent, and we're going to show you again lots of examples, lots of the other digital marketing is spent building your email list, getting people to subscribe to your email list. And you're doing that because you want to take control of the conversation. Don't leave the success of your business in the hands of your customer. So if you do not have that email address and a way of contacting them individually, personalized and straight into their inbox, and you're just relying on them maybe seeing a Facebook post or watching a YouTube video, then you're putting a weakness into your business, really, because when are they going to do that? There's no predictability, there's no consistency. So email marketing takes all of the other work, it gets people aware of you, and then we can use it in various ways. So we've talked about the customer journey. People don't even know you exist, they probably don't even know that your products or service exist, and if they do, then are you the right person to choose? So we start down here, and it's all about awareness, and then people engage with us in some way, they like our Facebook group, but then we start bringing people onto our email list, and email can then sit and be part of every other part of this customer journey. So where I've put that big tick there, so when we get them subscribed onto our list and we're going to welcome them, we then convert them. They might buy something from us, they might come along to our webinar, we get them onto our list in some ways, we get them excited about what we're doing, we upsell to them and send them through. They probably buy out, you know, more expensive products or services, and many of them go on to become advocates and refer us and bring in testimonials and promote our business for us, our sort of raving fans, if you like. So social media, adverts, they're kind of working on that awareness piece, on that engagement piece, and then email can sit fundamentally in the rest of the part. I'm not saying we're not going to create content on social media for people who already are customers. I'm not saying that you don't use some of the other channels, but email sits as the glue between the rest of that customer journey and how we bring them through. So they go from not knowing us, they're a complete stranger, they don't know how we can help them and what services we offer, and by the end, you know, some of them become our raving fans, and they, you know, they're the ones that are out sort of telling everyone about us, commenting, sharing on the community pages on Facebook how great we are when someone asks for a gardener or an accountant or a hairdresser. So that's where email sits. So how on earth then do you get your inbox opened? How do you get people to open in your inbox, you know, their inbox? How do you get to not head up into the dreaded spam file? How do you get them excited about your messages? And then how can you automate and make some of this easier for you as you're working through and building your business? Because people are at various stages on that customer journey. So some people are just inquiring, they've just found out about you. And some people want to know about your latest widget that you've produced. So how on earth can you be emailing and stay in contact with them, because they all want different things from you? But we can automate that, and some of the tools that we use will help you. Just like anything, the tools that you use for any job in the world make it easier. It's part of the free resources. We've got our sort of 40 sort of bits of software and apps that we use or recommend or sort of give you a few options of. If you use a proper EDM, then it makes it all easier for you, and we'll explain why. And importantly, it makes it legal. As a business, you are really legally required to have an unsubscribe option on your emails. So that's massive, and you should do that. And more importantly, it makes it more powerful because you can see who's opened what, who's bounced away, who's opening the most. So it shows up your opportunities, and you can clearly see straight away if you use a proper EDM system whether people like the emails that you've sent or not. So there's lots out there, and this list is certainly not exhaustive. A CRM is a client relationship management system. So that does send emails for you, but it also does a bit more. So you can almost map out that customer journey, if you like, and share a lot more details with people and save sort of details of telephone conversation you've had with them. So there's lots out there. HubSpot is kind of very well known, I think, in New Zealand. Infusionsoft, as it was, we used to use. ActiveCampaign, Salesforce is another good one. And then there's email software. So Mailchimp, definitely in New Zealand, the customers that we work with, many of them are using Mailchimp. So a lot of my examples I'm going to show you in Mailchimp. But all of the systems provide the same thing. You've got that unsubscribe. You can clearly see who and what has happened. The results are really clear, so you can see if your email marketing is working. So have a delve into that toolkit and see if you're using any of those. If you're just running your emails out of Outlook or out of your Yahoo account, then you are making your life very difficult. You are not legal, and it will be impossible for you to know whether people are responding to your emails. So you could literally just be bashing your head against a wall and not being able to, you're not going to know whether it's working or not, because you won't know if it's opened and if they've watched the videos, what links they've clicked on, etc. Now we're going to talk about that database and the emails. We're going to look in a second at how we build that email list. But once you do start building an email list, then it's really important that you protect and update that data. Sort of sad to say that if for whatever reason tomorrow you couldn't run your business, if you have a well-managed database, then your business could carry on without you. And most business sales are based on that customer list, that database. It's the gold mine in your business often. But for it to be important and for it to have a value, you need to sort of nurture that. And I deliberately put a little bit of time aside each month just to manage my data. Now, I would much rather you had a small list of 50 or 100 people who are very engaged, who are opening your emails, or asking questions, than a list of 5,000 that never engage, never open, and your open rates are really low. We'll talk about open rates as we go through. So I'd spend a little bit of time. Most of the systems, such as Mailchimp, use tagging. So I can go in and against my customers, I can kind of put them into groups, or it's called segmenting, sort of segmentation. I can put them into groups according to where they are in that customer journey and my relationship with them, what they're interested in, what their behaviours have been. So for example, I run a networking group in Lincoln. So anyone that's in my networking group is tagged as part of that group. I might tag how they're paying, 6 monthly, monthly. I've got people who just watched a webinar or been to a training event, haven't purchased from me, they're tagged in a different way. I've got my done for you customers that I look after, they are tagged in a different way. So that not all emails that I send out go to all of my list. And this is going to be a theme throughout this webinar. It's really important that you sort of take this on board. So look after your data, go in and update. So if someone moves along that customer journey, now some of it can be automated depending on how complicated you, what system you've taken on. So something like Infusionsoft will manage this all for you. And as people move through the journey, you get tagged. And obviously there's a higher cost and a sort of more complex technical setup of those kind of systems, but they do exist. So you can either do it manually, and I just keep mine up to date. So look after that data, because it's really important, because when you want to send the right messages to various groups in your data, you need to be able to do it at a quick push of a button. That's what it's all about. So we're going to get people to subscribe on our list, and we'll look at some examples in a second. We then convert them to buy, maybe a small purchase to start with. We've talked about that just to build the trust with people. And then ultimately we keep them excited, and we're going to ascend them through. So some of them go on to become our raving fans. So how on earth do you build your email subscriber list? How do you get people in? Well, there's lots of ways. Some of them are offline and some of them are online. It's time to start sort of dangling the carrot, if you like. And there are many examples, and we've shown them throughout these webinars where people have, they're offering something for free, some help, a webinar, a training session, a ebook, a blueprint, a checklist, a hack, something that you give away in exchange for an email address. And that's what I mean by a lot of time is spent in the digital world, on the social channels and on our websites, building this list, because it's so important. Don't keep your email signature, your email subscription secret. Kind of put it everywhere. Maybe put it on the bottom of your email signature, and also offline. So you're in a networking group and you've collected some cards, get those into your database. You ran an event and collected cards. So online, offline. And if you have a public facing business, is there a way in the business? So on the table in your cafe, could you have some sort of little incentive? So, download here, an offer to come in for the next time you have lunch or something like that. What can you do online and offline to build this list, because it's so important? Give them a sneak peek. That's often so we might say, well, we're doing we offer a service to manage the Facebook ads for you, and here's a sneak peek of how we help someone. So that gets people onto our email list, and then we gradually nurture that relationship nice and slowly, just as you would a real person in your networking group, and build them through. This is definitely a case of testing and seeing what's working. And landing pages, we're going to talk about those. So when we get to one, I'll explain exactly what it is and why it's different to your website. So we've talked about Boom a lot, and it's going to be featured quite heavily today. And I'll explain why. So basically, they are creating awareness through really useful content. And if this is your first time with us, then Boom, they're based in the States. They supply makeup and skincare to the sort of 50+ woman. So they've created some amazing content on issues and concerns and desires that a 50-year-old woman would be interested in. So they've got a free guide, 6 tips for taking amazing photos and videos, for example. All of that content is driving people over to their own website. And when you land on their website, it is quite bright. There's lots of pink. And we've got this Join the Boom Club. That is on nearly every page. It's on nearly every email they send out. They are not saying sign up for our newsletter. The biggest way, because whatever you do, don't have that box on your website. Please change it, make it sound more exciting. So join our gardening club. Join the Boom Club. And when you do click on that, so there we go, there's that big button, loud and proud on the website. So this is them getting people to subscribe. They've driven them there through great content, and now we're getting them to subscribe. And you're invited to join the Boom Club. Over 400,000 women receive the best discounts, new videos, makeup and skin ideas every week. And they've kind of got the pro age revolution. It's kind of they're helping people, something beyond them, if you like. It's a greater cause, if you like. So what's yours? Have you got this on your website? Make the page, it's really, that pink button, yes, let me in. Even the wording of that's been well thought out and tested. It's bold, it's pink. There's definite reasons to join the Boom Club if you're over 50. We're working a lot at the moment with health and beauty salon owners. So this is a landing page. So this is where it's a standalone. This is not part of my website. It's a sort of solo page, if you like. So people either opt in and they subscribe, so they hit that get the blueprint button, or they bounce away. And it's up to me in that wording to make it sound as good as possible. And it's a free blueprint, and we're going to help you do this, this, and the other. So you can have landing pages. Mailchimp offers you that option for free. You can create a landing page in Mailchimp, and then when people hit that blueprint, they automatically come into Mailchimp's system, and you can start that sort of email process that we've got going on. This is an opt-in button on a front of a website. This is a salon that we help in the UK. So new to Essentials, enjoy 3 treatments for the price of 1. And literally people are giving us their email to download a voucher to come in and use the salon. Now, obviously in the UK, the salon's been closed for a while, but when the salon is open, we have between, and it does vary, and sometimes we push it more than others, but we have between 20 and 40 people every month subscribe, join the list to download that voucher. We've dangled that carrot, we've got them in. Now that's using Messenger, that's using a little bit of software called ManyChat. There's lots of ways to add a pop-up to your website. If you're using a Wix website, you can add pop-ups. It's much simpler than you think, and it's just a way to drive people onto your list, but you need to make it sound exciting, and that's the key. So email has an ability many channels don't. It's creating valuable personal touches at scale. And that's why it's important to use one of these systems, because like we say, people at different times and different parts of that customer journey, and you need to be able to get different things to different people. And there's no way you could individually do that. So we've looked at how we're going to subscribe people online, offline, as many ways as you can. Make that offer and the carrot that you dangle as tantalizing as you can, so that people give you their email address. And now we need to start staying in touch with them. And the big one here is don't be boring. There's no excuse for being boring. Wow, and there are lots of boring emails out there, as I'm sure you can. I'm sure your inbox will sort of verify for me. So please don't be boring. That's the key to this. A boring email just doesn't work. So how can we make it stand out? So this is just a quick screenshot. So because I obviously signed up for the Boom Club. So I I just search for them, and this is so just interesting how many they are sending. If you look down the right hand side, so 1st of March, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever, there's a lot of emails coming out, but most of them are about great content that is useful to me. When I then get to that content, there's call to actions on that page and that drive me through to sale or to sign up for the email. So how many emails should you be sending is probably the question I get asked the most. I don't think any email can be too long. It can only be boring, and there can't be too many. They can just be boring. So if you've got lots to say, and we're going to show you a particular campaign in a few minutes, then you'll ramp up and you'll do a few more than normal. I think definitely if you've got a database, then you should be contacting them, all of them, at least once a month. A lot of our clients we're doing 3, 4, 5 times a month, and it's working, but we're not sending them boring emails. So how on earth do we not write a great email? I'm going to use the sort of it's quite old school, but ADA. So for an email to work, you need to grab people's attention. We need to interest them, show interest. We need to create a desire about what you're talking about, and we need to tell them what to do next. So ADA: attention, interest, desire, and action. To grab that attention, then how on earth do you get people to, well, it doesn't matter how great your email is, if your subject line on that email is boring or doesn't grab their attention, then they will just delete or never read it. So your subject line is like the movie trailer, if you like, and you need to make it really powerful. We spend a lot of time on subject lines for our clients and for ourselves, and it really does matter. So there's a few things in the resources. We have, I don't know, 100, 200 we've put together for you, of ones that we've used, ones that are quite famous in the marketing world. So it just gives you a starting point. And there's a lot, you sort of want to create, you're creating intrigue. All that subject line has to do is to get people to open the email. That's what you want. You want that open rate to be as high as possible. So I can't sort of, stress enough how important it is. So we've given you a load. But also what I would recommend is that you create your own swipe file. So you might not be your customer. And I know it sounds a strange thing to say, but you need to step, and the more you can step into your customer's shoes, which we'll demonstrate clearly today, the better your marketing across the board will be. So sign up for competitors' email lists. Sign up for email lists you think your potential customers would be interested in. Go through your inbox. What emails have you opened? Why have you opened them? And literally, I've got literally a swipe file of hundreds of emails for various of my clients and for ourselves, where we've pulled them into a swipe file. And when I'm lacking inspiration, or I want a good starting point for a great subject line, I go to my swipe file, and usually I'll find something. I might change it and change it up, but it gives you that insight. Now we're helping salons, so the boom ones, obviously I'm swiping all of those. So what's your equivalent? Who in your space is doing good emails, or what subject lines do you react to? And that's what what do you think your customers would react to? So swipe file is just a powerful way to be. Personalize every single email you send out. So it should always be, hi Julia, dear Julia, good morning Julia, whatever. And also personalize as far as possible. You can personalize the subject lines. Mailchimp lets you do that. So it could be, the example here was Richard, 3 secrets other hotel owners in Christchurch don't want you to discover. Now, what I've done there is I have clearly named my niche, I've said my place, and I've personalized it. And the more the subject line can relate to someone, so they go, that's me, I'm a hotel owner in Christchurch, then the better. And we've obviously personalized it as well. So it's really key. And again, that's what EDM lets you do. You can, you can choose which field, and you can personalize through. You can even use their business name in things. But personalization, it's a bit fundamental, but definitely works and helps you get emails opened. Generally, writing any copy, whether it's an email or a leaflet or any kind of copy, there's different things that you just need to make it stand out. And handwritten scribbles often work, and you can do little things. You can do memes now in emails, you can do links to videos. Just kind of what you want to do is make it stand out. Emojis work. Again, test them. You can use emojis throughout the text and on your headline. And I know some of you will be sitting there thinking, oh, you know, I'm a professional business, we can't be using emojis. All that subject line has to do is get this email opened. So try it, see if it works. Let's just see. When you go look at your inbox and look at emails that are in your box, and when someone has used emoji, the bright, you know, yellow little face or the fire or whatever that someone has used, it really stands out, and without you even wanting to, it catches your eye above the other things that are in your inbox. I'm a big believer on any marketing copy is that you write the same way that you talk. So when you're writing the actual email, think about if you were just talking to the friend at the networking group, how you would explain something, or how would you, you know, explain your new launch of a product or event or whatever that you're doing. And I often, and I do it for articles and I do it for emails, is I voice record them. And then either have them transcribed. And Word now, if you've got the latest Office software, they do transcriptions for you. So there's a little microphone in the right hand corner. So often now, instead of me writing a piece in Word, an article or whatever, I just talk it through. I think then it really sounds like you, and the more real, the more personality you can have, it's better. I know that I put ignore writing conventions. That doesn't mean you don't want loads of spelling mistakes or punctuation mistakes or whatever. But I was old school. I worked for Pricewaterhouse. There was a, very professional way of writing back in the 1990s. And without even knowing it, just through the experiences that I've had, I can very easily become quite formal if I'm not careful. And people want to hear from you. And when I record things, people say, oh, I can actually hear you speaking when they read it. And I've got people that I follow and I can actually hear their voice as I'm reading it. And if you get to that point, then you're writing copy in a good way, and that will definitely help your emails get opened. So on the AIDA then, so we've grabbed attention and we're going to make it look bright, and we're going to personalize. We now need to add interests. So when someone opens an email, if they just see a big blank wall of text, they are very likely to bounce off. People skim read. So we need to sort of break down that text. So we take it in. We're all our, attention span is really, really short. So we need to, people just skim, and then if it's of interest, they go back to find out more. So we call this the dual readership path. So once I've written an email, I then go back to it and I make sure that I add subheadings, I bold certain sentences and words, I bullet point, I caption things, I do some things in italics, and I take out a lot of the words. So once I've written an email, emails are not, they shouldn't be, people don't want war and peace, if you like. You might be using your email to send them to a longer article on something. So cut out, there's usually too many words in most emails. So cut out as many as you can, and then start to create. So you're pulling out the keywords. If they only read the bullet points and the ones in bold, they would know what this email is about, and they are likely then to carry on reading, and make your kind of call to actions really stand out. Tell stories in your emails. Underrated and definitely not done that well. You want to tap into your customers' emotional pains and worries, dreams and desires, and demonstrate your expertise. So the story about how you've helped people will sit very squarely and do really well on your email marketing. So these are the kind of contents. We're going to look at different ways you can do it. And then there's something called takeaway selling. Takeaway selling is a super smart strategy that kind of works on reverse psychology. So you get your readers to convince themselves that they're right for whatever you're selling. So, you might be saying something like, oh, this might not be right for you. We're only looking for smart, ambitious business owners. Or you might say, we're looking for fastidious, attention to detail. You don't just want a clean home. We're only looking, you're talking about, you're clearly saying who you want to work with. And people then generally put their hands up and go, yeah, that's me. I am fastidious. I want my house. I want the attention. I want it to be super clean. I don't just want a everyday cleaner. They kind of put themselves into a category. Yes, I'm an ambitious business owner. I want to do well. I want to carve out a way of life for my family. So takeaway selling, these are all just little techniques to keep that interest going. So this is only for you if, or this might not be for you, is a good opening sentence that can help people just keep on reading. We've made it look nice. Use colour as well on your emails if you can. And again, we'll show you some examples of that. So then Ada, so build relationships with the people that are on your list, and we need to create some desire. So I kind of like this little slide here. So people don't want holes in the wall, they want a clock in the kitchen so they know what time it is. And we've all heard this before, and yet many of us still create content and write emails that say, we do accountancy and we'll do your year end. We do we do gardening, that's not what people want. They want to free up their time. They want to make great decisions on their business. And there's loads of examples there. And it's about, in that narrative, really pulling through what people want. And any marketing, my first rule of engagement is, what's in it for me? That's what the customer is saying to themselves. What's in it for me? So in this email that you're making look nice, and you are driving them through with how you set it out, you are filling it with details of what's in it for them. And then finally on Ada, we want people to take some kind of action, usually off the back end of an email. Don't be boring. So a 10% offer is probably the worst offer in the world. So don't do that. That's not going to work. It needs to be more tantalizing than that. Keep your offer, or the next steps. It might just be you want them, sending them over to a blog. Make it really simple and really obvious. If they have to spend any time looking for the button or what do they do next, they've gone, you've lost them, and they won't be clicking through. If you are making an offer, if you're trying to sell now on your email, then put a deadline on it. So there is some urgency, some scarcity that will get people to work, and offer a guarantee. So you can offer personal guarantees, you can offer unlimited, you can offer conditional. Often that is the final thing that takes away the risk for people. So you're, through the wording that you're using and this medium, you're telling people about how specifically you can help them. And then, if you can add a guarantee, we'll work with you as long as you need to achieve this goal, or whatever it is, or less a bonus. If you sign up for today, you're going to get this extra product. Those things do work. It's no coincidence that these are used repeatedly online, etc. And just be really clear what you want them to do. So that the buttons, the colors, make it clear. So you are moving people through this email and they're doing what you want them to do. So there's lots of types of email that you can write, and we've talked in this webinar series about sort of taking 90-minute chunks, if you like, and doing some of the work. So one 90-minute could be to create a welcome email or a series of emails that you send out to brand new customers. I'm going to show you a lovely example of that in a second. You can obviously share knowledge and help, send people on to these lovely articles that you've written, introduce new clients. Obviously, we're going to use email to drive sales. Share reviews, experiences. We can use email to reactivate lost clients. And then there's the good old newsletter, and we'll talk about the value of that in a second. So I love this email, and there's lots of versions of this. I think one day in New Zealand, probably kicked this off a while ago. I love this. So this is, I sent something in the UK. It's written to my husband because I think we're using his account. So our chief packing elf put her white gloves on and delicately wrapped up your order on our marble desk, meticulously checking every item is in impeccable condition and spritzing your package with the finest perfume. It was then placed onto a silk pillow and a candle was lit, etc., etc. This was a welcome email. This is the first time I'd used this company. I'd found them through social media. Someone I knew had bought something. They'd recommended them. I kept seeing their posts. I needed a really luxurious present for my sister, and I used them. And this was the email that came. On the same day, I had an email from Marks and Spencer's which said, "Thank you very much for your order. Here's your shipping link. It will be sent out on Thursday," whatever it was. And the difference between the two and my emotional connection between those two businesses was so different. This just kind of made me smile. It felt special. Yes, someone has taken some time at some point to write this, and I'm sure it's been used thousands of times. It's not special to me, but it felt special, and it felt that my gift was being delivered with love, if you like. So what's your version? How could you do it? If we get time at the end, I will go live and show you something my friend received over the weekend, but we'll see how we go. So mere exposure effect we've talked about this quite a bit in the webinars, and you simply can't spend lots of time in front of all your customers or all your potential customers physically in front of them, but arriving regularly into their inbox will help you forge that relationship and will help build trust with your business. Familiarity builds trust. Now, I don't open all of the emails I received, obviously. So someone like I've mentioned Ryan Dice already, I don't open all of his emails. However much I rate him, life's way too busy. But I have got them. And even if I haven't opened it, he's not one of the ones I delete because I want to read his emails. He's still come top of mind. I've still seen him. I've still seen this. And often I do go back. There has been an email on, the latest Instagram hack or whatever it is. And I will go and read it. So email just gives you that way of jumping into their inbox. And we talked about that you are now the publisher of your own publisher. When we used to pay to be in publications, you're doing it yourself. And a newsletter is really a publication. It's your way of kind of getting stuff out to people. It builds you as an expert. People would rather do business with an expert than a salesperson. So if you write your newsletters and your emails in the right way, then they will definitely buy more and pay more because you've kind of pitched yourself as the expert. We've talked about these guys in a previous webinar. Every single Thursday, Terra Viva Garden and Home and Garden send out a newsletter to their garden club members. So we're using social media to drive and talk about all the things that they sell and do, the workshops, the fabulous giftware and homeware and plants. And it drives people. So it's like the Boom Club. They join the garden club. These emails are personal. You definitely get to know Peter and his wife, and you can almost, I can see them in the garden. I can see her making chutney. There's a lot of humour goes on, and you really understand. You see a little bit about them. There's educational help in there. It's a definite format, comes out every single Thursday, and then they make offers. So this week we've got some special offers for the Garden Club members. Without fail, that lands. And that's what this is all about. That's kind of building those relationships, demonstrating the expertise, showing up regularly. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what joke. He always has a little jokey bit. There's always, it's a nice thing to receive in my inbox. It's a welcome guest, not an annoying pest. And I think the number one thing that I should definitely mention is if you are writing an email, a newsletter style email, then definitely don't call it a newsletter. So don't put, March newsletter in the subject line. It's your quickest way into the delete file. And so again, even if you do a newsletter, that first subject line is still really key, and all the things apply. So if you sign up for the Garden Club, you will see all of these things in action. They're bright, there's definite call to action, there's the personality and a real authentic feel about the business. It's about building these relationships, so they get to know you, the results you can achieve and how you can help them. On any marketing, understanding your reader is key. Who the customers are, what they're looking for. And the more you do this, and we talked about this right at the beginning of the first webinar, the better your email marketing will be. So, and again, you're going to write to different segments of it. So you've got existing customers, you've got your best customers, you've got the customers you haven't heard from for 6 months. You're going to write different things to each of them. And then often you will put them into a sequence, sort of linking emails, if you like. So, you know, one leads on to the other. And I think better if I just move forward and I'll show you some examples. Mailchimp lets you now create a customer journey. So this is where it's based on behaviors and what they do. So we're driving people in. So maybe it's a, you know, some sort of landing page, and we send out the, you know, the ebook that they've asked for, and then we have a little sequence of things, and if they click this, then this happens. If they don't click that, then this happens. And it's just, it might look a little bit complicated, but it's just a mind map. And again, I always come back. So if I sat in a networking group and I told someone about, you know, something that we were doing, what would I do to stay in contact with them that wouldn't annoy them? And what would happen if they did do this or they didn't do that? And, you know, Mailchimp has you can have, I think it's 2,000 subscribers on Mailchimp and have a free account. And, you know, customer journeys are in there. So it's definitely worth having a play with this and seeing what you can achieve. Overall, though, on all marketing, and particularly on emails, is to monitor your results. It's the key to success. It opens up doors of opportunity. So, you know, Mailchimp will give you the results. They will do a report on each email that you send out. So you will know who has opened it and who hasn't opened it. So the ones that have opened it, and if they've then clicked through, sometimes you'll see someone's clicked on a link 13 times. And they are then your hottest leads. They are the ones I'll be doing personalized emails to. So it's definitely worth it. And for those that don't open it, I resend the exact same email. I just change the subject line. So, and Mailchimp and all the systems let you do this really, really easily. You'll have another, sometimes 10, 15% of people open your email if you do this. So it's so worth doing. You want to get that email open. So just change that headline. Obviously didn't work for some people. So just try another one. And yeah, you'll get some more opens, which is what you're after. They, like I say, they do a nice, really nice kind of report. Now that's a high open rate. This is one of our emails that we sent out, a 71% open rate. We average at 80, but this is a very engaged list. These are kind of paying customers. Average good open rates, you're probably looking between 15 and 25%. If you're getting that on a sort of a potential client list, if you like, so people who have opted in but maybe haven't bought from you yet, then your emails are doing well. But benchmark what's happening and always go back and look at each email that you sent out and learn from it. So this worked, this didn't work, and on we go. Now I'm going to spend just 5 minutes looking at a particular campaign that Boom did. They've been very generous and they are sharing their exact figures. And I'm going to talk through some of the key elements and the lessons that we can all learn. Now, I appreciate many of you will be sitting there going, well, you know, I haven't got it. I'm never going to sell $2.4 million worth of anything. And it's kind of out of my scale. These guys are world class at writing emails and driving results. And so let's learn from world class. And what lessons can you learn? Yes, the scale will be different or may be different for your business, but the lessons in here aren't. And they've been very generous sharing all of this on Facebook, and I'll share the link in the resources for you so you can see the full campaign. So what were they doing with this email? So they've set it up to link them all together and to pull a campaign together. And their overall goal was to create excitement and exclusivity, driving people to sign up for an early bird offer that they were going to run pre-Black Friday. So Black Friday 2020 was the biggest online, you know, few days ever in the history of online marketing. And Amazon sort of set the stall out really because they went early. And by going early, some of these other big brands thought, well, we need to too. They were all fighting for the inbox, if you like. They were all fighting to get in there. So this is just a quick version of it. I'll share the full, they've shared the full campaign, it's all the way up to Christmas, but I'll just do the first few they did. So all emails in this campaign led to an opt-in page, so that landing page that I talked about. And this was the winner. They created 4. They tested what worked. So it might be worth, if you're going to set up a landing page, to do a couple of versions, and one always does better than the other, so then you know which one to work with. So coming soon, early Black Friday sale. That's what we're doing. That's what we're driving people into. And this segmentation tip is really important. So they mailed their full list at the beginning and the end of this campaign. And then in between all of the other emails, they only sent to people who were opening them, which is why you need that. Again, you need that software so that you can do this. So they only sent them. So because if someone's not engaging with you and they are not opening your emails and you keep sending it, you sort of have a black mark in your email system, and Mailchimp won't like it. Or whichever system you're using. So they didn't want to upset people. They didn't want people unsubscribing or bouncing away. So they very cleverly started just sending to the ones that were reacting to what they were sending. So this was the first email then. So people have gone to that opt-in page and said, yes, I want to be part of your Black Friday early bird, and I want to be on your list. Very simple email, quite bright. They kind of kept with that color scheme all the way through the whole thing. They had a 13.7 open rate, which to the huge list that it is was quite impressive. And they made $12,000 sales just almost as an accident on that. So they're doing the whole active list at the moment. And that email was only about welcome to this list. The important lesson comes up now, because then the subsequent emails that went out between them are content driven. Yes, there is the option down here to, did you know we're running the Black Friday sale? Are you on the VIP list? That does come at the bottom, but the main email is a really good piece of content which is helping you. It's got a bright picture, it's got a testimonial from one of the ambassadors, and a 21.7 open rate, 13 grand's worth of sales, clear call to actions, looks attractive, easy to follow, and we're still driving people into that list. The next email that goes out, we are not, you see what we're doing here, we are not just writing an email that is going to get you onto my list and then I'm going to sell the heck out of it and drive you mad with my emails when it comes up. We are giving people good content. So did you know you could contour using the boomstick was the next one. And then you'll see at the bottom of the page, are you in? Again, that imagery reflecting the theme of that. Come and join the early bird. You're going to get a special offer on these dates. All the way through, you'll see there the black and white buttons are sending you to sale. So 25 grand's worth of products were sold, 24.5% open rate. And key here, they're still only at a 2% bounce rate. So they're monitoring that the list really carefully. So, and if the bounce rate sort of went up to 5-6%, then they cut down the amount of emails they sent out. So lots of lessons here in terms of they're still sending great content that's helpful, useful, educational. People want to read, their particular audience wants to read, and giving the option to join in. So here's the results. So the early bird campaign, they got 36,000 people onto their list and essentially raised their hands and said, yes, we definitely want to be part of this. You can have your own version of this. What's your version of that campaign? And it was well thought out. There was a nice symmetry on the images and everything. So what could you do to help get people onto your list and then drive them through to sale? So don't forget, we've got those resources for you. If I can, I'll put the whole kind of all of those emails in from Boom and other examples. We've got the headlines in there, and we've got the list of the best kind of software that we recommend. I think it has never been easier or cheaper to get in front of the right people. The cost of setting up a business right now is dirt cheap. We've got all these channels we can jump on: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter for free. You can buy server space. You can have a templated email website up in a few hours. And there's never been a time in human history where if you've got an idea and you believe you can help people, you can get it in front of them. You can get in front of thousands of them really quickly. And that's the good news on the digital age and this digital marketing that we're talking about. The bad news on that is that it's never been harder to get people to care for your business. And to care that you've written this blog, and to care that you've done all these posts and taken interest in you. And the missing ingredient in all of this, and in most people's digital marketing, yes, we've given you some really good ways to use the platforms, some of the tools and things that make your life easier. But fundamentally, you must remember in digital marketing that you are selling to a human. And the more you understand them, the more you understand what they're walking around today in their head, having a conversation with themselves. They are upset they've not lost weight. They're worried they're not going to get their tax return in on time. They've got this little internal dialogue going on. And if you understand that, then wherever you put your message, whether it's online or offline, it will resonate and people will be attracted to you. I think Boom have done a great job of creating content all about the issues, the concerns, the fun of being a 50+ woman. And by doing that, they've attracted a big following. And then in that instance, it was a particular campaign. They were driving to some sales days and they upped their game. So there was definitely more emails that went on in that sequence than they normally do. But in between the sort of big sale moments, so yes, they drove a bit more up to Christmas, but in between that, and during that, they are putting great content which speaks to their perfect customers. So are you doing that? And that's the key. Understanding your customer and remembering they are not a key to dollars. They are they're a human. And if you treat them like you would the guy at the networking, then I believe your digital marketing will work really well. Okay, that's me today. I'll come out of here and we'll go to Q&A. If anyone's got any questions, then ask them here. Reach out if you need help with anything. All of the videos, today's included, will be on the Selwyn Council YouTube channel. Right, let's see if we've got any questions I can help with straight away. Just wait for my screen to come out of there. Okay, let me just close that down. Okay, now let's see if I can get into the Q&A. Okay, glasses are on, it's important. Your website goes live tomorrow. What is Facebook marketing calendar? Scheduling the right post, the best engagement with any. What I have little of only is Facebook marketing calendar. Scheduling is the right post to the best. I mean, Facebook kind of help you with some of this. So when you are creating posts, so good luck with your website. Well done. That's brilliant. When you are scheduling, you have to almost start to get going, and you need to, be consistent, feed that algorithm. Facebook algorithm is really, really hungry. So feed that algorithm with consistently putting out great content. But then once you've been going for a little while, it will tell you, you go onto your insights on your page and it will tell you when your audience is most active. So that's why you don't want, just your mum and your gran and all your friends liking your page. You need, genuine potential customers liking your page. And then you'll see what content they like, because you'll see Insights gives you all your feedback, really. It's a feedback loop all the time with marketing. So you'll see what's working and the best time of day. So good luck. Look forward to hearing a bit more about it. Yeah, you definitely do need to be using, thank you for your question, Nikki. You definitely do need to be using email marketing along with your website. Your website is where we send people to and we get people to sign up, and we, it kind of demonstrates our expertise. But now we need to keep that dialogue. We need to form those relationships and keep demonstrating our expertise and having a bit of fun and showing some humor and some personality. So it is the glue. You've got your sort of key platforms, and your website is the digital space you own. You've got your social channels, and then the email links them all up and stays in contact with people, because you physically can't do that yourself in front of everyone all the time. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a crucial part to make your website and your digital space run. For example, can it link up? So yes, it can link to your thing. So Mailchimp and all of the platforms will have forms, basically. So you can literally put a bit of code and it's very easy to do. I mean, I'm not hugely technical and I can do it. So Mailchimp has an embed code, and you put that onto your website, and then automatically people are brought straight into Mailchimp. So yeah, that's exactly what you're doing, whether you do it on a website or if you've got a standalone, you don't want people, you only want people to, you know, come to a landing page, which is that kind of isolated, do this or bounce away kind of page, then you can do that in Mailchimp as well. Exactly the same little thing, use the same form. So yes, definitely. Sometimes when I personalize the image, it doesn't pull through the merge tags. Oh, I mean, I don't know why that's not happening. You have to be really, you have to definitely copy it properly. I would go through and have a look at your data. I would look at your data and just make sure that it's filled out properly. You've got all of the names in the field properly and they're in the right fields. I know that sounds silly, and that's that whole protecting and building your data. So make sure that you've properly looked after it. And if not, just do a note to Mailchimp, and they are pretty good at coming back, and there's a forum of help. You've got to just make sure that you've got the spacing right, and you haven't got another digit or a dot less or a bracket less or whatever. But take it up with them if it's not working through, and make sure that your data, the fields are in the right place, so that you're pulling through the right thing. I mean, there are lots of people do. We do Facebook training. We do a lot of Facebook training. That's what we specialise in. So if we can help at all, or the middle webinar was much more about social media and how you make it work. So if you click on that on the Selwyn channel, then hopefully that will help you, or reach out. If you know, you'll find me. I'm in Lincoln, so reach out and we can see if we can help you a bit more. Oh, nice comment. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope the series has been really useful. Please do click into the resources because it will really help you get all of this done. I shall say my goodbyes.